welcome to Enquire to Choir. My name is Eva and I'm here to help you, fellow choir people. As you may know, this is the second video in the How to Organize a Choir Concert series. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the repertoire and the program of the concert you're planning. This video is going to address the general scheme of what the concert is going to look like, choosing the music your choir will perform in the concert, the order of the music pieces your choir is performing, and the role of the presenter or the host. I just want to point out, there are so many possible combinations of the situation your choir may be in and the nature of the concert. Here I'm trying to be as general as possible while still being as useful to you as possible. To amateurs and to professionals, please have that in mind if you happen to think that I over-explain some things. And if you disagree about something, that's okay. My point is to make you aware of the things you can think about or should think about. This is regarding the order of events, so to say. Your choir is performing and is in the center of attention, but as I talked about in the previous video, certainly at some point you have other people on the stage too. And by other people I mean your guest performers and your guest speakers. So let's say you have one guest performer, like for example a guest choir. The logical order of events would be choir, guest, choir. If you have two separate guest performers, you can go two ways. The first being choir, guest 1, guest 2, choir. And the second one, which I would recommend, choir, guest 1, choir, guest 2, choir. The reason I recommend the second one is because if it's your choir's concert, then your choir should be in the center of attention. If your guests are giving a block of time the same length as your choir's blocks of time are, it becomes more about the guests, but you be the judge on this matter and choose what best suits you and your concert. How to start a concert? I strongly believe that you should start your concert with music, and then the opening note of the host should follow. Why? Because the audience came to listen to music, not to hear people speak. The beginning sets the tone for the rest of the concert. Also, in the end, there is a finale, which may involve your guests. The scheme now looks like this. Choir's opening song, opening word, choir, guest, choir, finale. If you have more than two people who have to give a speech, please separate them in separate blocks. Again, people came to listen to a concert, not to a conference. Something like this. Choir opening song, opening word, speaker 1 and 2, choir, guest, choir, finale, speaker 3 plus encore. It makes sense to give an encore in the end, whatever it may be. If it's a concert, it should end with music, right? You can mend this recommended scheme any way you please, but I hope this skeleton for the choir's program is a good place to start for you. The thing you also need to think about is, for example, the moving around of the people involved. Will the choir stay on the stage while the guests are performing? And can the choir stand on the stage? How often will they go off the stage? Do you need instruments or an orchestra? How to position everyone, etc. Now when you have your general scheme, you can start thinking about the repertoire your choir is going to sing. Before everything, think about the duration of the concert. It's usually from an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you're inviting someone as a guest, especially another choir, you should give them from 8 to 10 minutes to perform, but personally, I don't think it should be more than that. Also, a note, I would not bring my choir as a guest to a concert which I'm giving less than 8 minutes to perform. It's just not worth the time. So if you take 10 minutes per guest, 10 minutes for the opening word and speeches, 10 minutes for the encore, 5 minutes for all the entering and positioning people on the stage, 10 minutes for all the speaking of the host, if you have one, and your concert should be around 90 minutes long, you are left with around 45 minutes of pure choir's performance at least. What should be the opening song? Does your choir or the institution your choir is under have a hymn, it has to be something that people will remember. It has to be something impactful. You decide what that is for your choir. Bear in mind, maybe it must be a national anthem. The encore is usually something the choir is known for, or something new which is performed by the choir and all the guests, and it's usually not complicated to learn. When you start thinking about the repertoire, a few things from me. I strongly recommend and I strongly think that in every concert you should perform something new. At least something. Don't repeat everything old. Don't sing only the things people have heard before. It's just people remember things, and I'm not saying that this is fair, but they tend to think that if they haven't heard anything new from you at the concert, then the concert was easy for you, which we know not to be true at all, but you know. People. You have a theme for the concert. You don't have to have one, but it clearly impacts your repertoire. Now go through all the pieces you want your choir to perform. I recommend a mixture of a cappella and with accompaniment, uplifting and positive, emotional roller coasters, deeply sad, very entertaining with a powerful rhythm, introspective, something that makes the audience think about their feelings, something which makes the audience remember something from their life, and something that everybody in the audience knows. The general advice would be make it cohesive but not all the same. It has to have some level of diversity. Otherwise, it all becomes a huge fog of all the same music and nobody remembers anything from it. Also, be careful that you don't choose only the music pieces in a foreign language. If you can, of course. And this is usually available to people not singing classical music. But I know that the audience tend to comment that everything was great, but it's a shame that nothing was sung in the choir member's mother tongue. That's just the way it is. You also have to be very realistic with what your choir is able to do and how much time you have to rehearse everything for the concert. Be very realistic, but still be ambitious. You want to show something new from your choir. You want to show progress of your choir, right? I strongly believe that 50% of the concert success comes from the order in which the music pieces were performed. If you have ever been to a pop or a rock concert, you can relate. There is nothing worse than when the progress of the concert is not logical, and when the audience's emotions are not manipulated in a smart way. The audience loves to feel things when they listen to a concert, because we all feel things when we listen to music. This is not a small thing to consider. I'm not saying you should manipulate. I'm just saying you should be aware of how each song impacts your audience. In fact, you have to respect their feelings. For me, after the powerful opening song, the first block of music should be a little bit more peaceful. If you have deeply complicated meditative pieces, put them in the first block. The more lively stuff is for the second block, because then we're going towards the finale. Bear in mind the difficulty of each piece you're performing. Think about your choir and make it easier for them. For example, by giving them an easier piece after a very difficult one. But talk to your choir members. They will let you know what is most difficult for them, because maybe it's not the things you think would be. Think about the vocal range of each piece. It makes a difference for your choir. And make it logical with your accompaniment. For example, don't make your pianist do one song and then have a song of rest and another song and then he rests again. Put the pianist's songs in a group or two groups, but put them together. And finally, if you have a host or a presenter, you don't have to have one. But if you do, this person should announce a group of songs, not each song separately. It doesn't make sense. It's too much talking. So 2 or 3 or more in a group, a whole block if you can, if it's possible, but not every song separately. And while I agree that the choir's biography should be in those announcements, don't make it in one take. Don't make the host read the whole biography all at once. The host can say bits about your choir during every announcement. People will appreciate the information and they're more likely to register it and remember it this way. That's it. This is a very long and a very complicated topic, so I hope this was helpful to you at least in some way. I will definitely expand on these topics in the future in separate videos. Be sure to be subscribed so you get them when I do make those videos. You can also check the whole How to Organize a Choir Concert series. The link is here and down below. And if you wish to talk to me, go to Facebook, Enquire to Choir. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if you liked it, and conduct well, conductors, and I'll see you next time. Bye!